So I realized I left you on a little bit of a cliffhanger after last week's video. Did she find the quilt blocks? Did she not find the quilt blocks? Is her brick room, sewing room clean? My room's not clean yet. It's getting there. We're making progress, so don't you worry. This will be revealed eventually about how clean and all put together and organized it'll finally be. Might take till the end of the year, but hopefully it'll happen. And also good news, I did find the blocks. I did not find them in here because I was being proactive and had already moved them out of the room. So I did find the blocks I was missing, and there are 24 of them. So we'll get back to that in a minute. So this is actually from a block swap that I did on Craftster, which was a forum years ago. I want to say it was like 8 years ago that these blocks were made. And I can't even say that I made them because I was swapping people blocks to have them make these for me, so then I could have a quilt for my brand new bed, which right now is no longer brand new, and I never even made the blocks for my own quilt. So that's why I have 24 of these instead of, I probably would have ended up with 30 because I did 2 groups and each person sent 3 blocks for each person. So yeah. And I'm not feeling like I want this on my bed anymore. I've got my 100-day 100 blocks on my bed and I've had it there for a while. And it's just great. So I love the quilt that I have on my bed. This doesn't really speak to me anymore. I do like the colors, but I think it's time for it to get quilted up and go to somebody else. But before I quilt it, we have to put it into a quilt top, obviously. So with 24 blocks, I could do 4x6, or I guess the other option would be 8x3, but that's a little weird. So I'm debating splitting this into 2 quilts and having it be 2 3x4s. So then it would be 2 smaller 2 smaller 12 block quilts. But I've done a lot of baby quilts recently, so maybe I do need to do another lap size quilt, and maybe I will end up liking it in the end. I don't know. So I think I'm going to plan my design wall, lay these out, and see whether I want to put some sashing between them so then the blocks stand alone, or if I want them all touching. I don't know. I don't remember what my plan was with this block. I don't even remember where I found this block. So if by the end of the video I figure out where I found this block pattern, because I know it was free, I will link that in the description box below. Or maybe one of you might know where it came from and can help me out, and then post in the comments and I will then update the description box. So help a girl out if I don't find it by the end. So let's see if I can make a quilt top out of this. So I laid everything out 4x6, and I think, 1, I like the layout, but 2, I think 4x6 looks very long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the bottom row down here and then just make that into a little 4-patch quilt, and then the rest of it will become a quilt that I think I will keep in my car. I know that sounds like, oh, you don't like this quilt as much, you keep in your car, but I have so many quilts in my house and I already have no place to keep them. But I think of something fun like this would be a good quilt to have in my car for if it's cold out, if we're at a concert, which I know we're going to a concert and having lawn seats. So then if I have this cute quilt to take with me and have it as my concert quilt, I think that'll be fun. And it's bright and cheery and all the right colors. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. The bottom 4 are gonna get donated and the top of it's gonna stay for me. And I did also decide that I think I am gonna do the sashing in between just to match these little white bits here. So I'm gonna estimate what those are gonna be and then start putting the sashing in, so then this can be a quilt top. Haven't decided if I'm gonna do a border outside of that though. Probably if I do a skinny all the way around, I will do a second border of one of these colors. I don't know what I have in my stash. Maybe it'll be a grunge, because that would be the right thing to do if you're me, but who knows, we'll see what I have. Now we're at the point where I have all my sashing, all my skinny borders, and this little skinny inner border all the way around. And so now I'm going to put an outer border on. And I definitely have enough of this fabric to do that with, which I think that'll look cool. Get some little sparkle in there. So I'm going to see how big these are and then figure out how big to do my border. And also base it off of how big the quilt is, I guess. Granted, I guess I would want it to be a good lap size. So maybe like a 5-inch border around that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So I just finished sewing on my second border, and look how much thread I have left. I was certain I was going to run out, but I made it. So now I've got to go press these borders, but look who's been sleeping here this whole time. Borders are all on. It's all ready to quilt, and now I just have to decide how I'm going to quilt it. Whether I want to do something florally, something modern, or, in my opinion, obviously dinosaurs. What do you think, Trixie? Well, here we are, all locked and loaded. I went ahead and went with a Kona backing. I believe it's Kona Royal Blue. I thought about doing Minky because that would have been great for a car quilt, but also at the same time for a car quilt, I wanted something that was going to be really easy to wash, not have to worry about the care instructions like you would with Minky. So we're going with blue. There's lots of blue on this quilt, so I'm going to get the batting all loaded up, get my quilt top basted in, and then figure out what pantograph I'm going to use on this guy. Everything's all basted in. I'm going to use the light gray thread on this one. That's just a good neutral. And then I'm going to try this Celtic Sea. I say try, but I'm going to commit to this Celtic Sea pantograph. I think it'll be a good, nice little design. Gives it some movement to go with this herringbone, and it's nice and modern. So I'm going to get to quilting. She can't handle the vacuum, but the long-armed motion means nothing. Last zone all stitched out, and as you see over here, I've kind of got some bowing with from my side border onto my bottom border, so I'm going to get this off the frame, get it all squared up. I think I am going to square this one up by measuring out from here to here, just so I don't have that wonky jump of a border, because it happens on the other side too. But I am quite pleased with this pantograph choice. I think it looks really good on it. And it's going to look really cool in the back because it's just a solid gray on a solid blue. Very simple, and that's going to quilt and crinkle up nicely when it's washed for the car. And here we have the finished herringbone quilt. Clearly, if you remember from the beginning of the video, I can't give you much information as to the creation of these blocks because I hadn't found the instructions that I used, and I didn't even make one myself. So if I find that before this video posts, I will still put it in the description box. Remember, if you know what block this is and want to share it and help me out, I will update the description box as well. But I think with the sashing in there, I did 1.5 inches, so it's sewed down to 1 inch. These ones are 1/2 inch, so they're probably 1 inch cut, so it kind of just balances everything out. Unfortunately, I did not get this done in time for the concert to go with us in the lawn seats, but we still had a good time, and now it is all done and ready to go in my car, which sounds like a weird thing to be excited about, but I think this will be a great car quilt. It'll be good for travel, good for upcoming trips and adventures and all sorts of fun. So I used just a regular Kona on the back, which is perfect for the needs of this so that it's easy to wash, easy to take care of, no crazy instructions, but I think this border looks great with it, and I made the binding match, so lots of sparkly fun with this fun, scrappy herringbone quilt. So in addition to my car quilt, I've got my little baby quilt one that just was too long with the pattern as a whole, so I made this 2x2 to the little patch. I also used it as a test to try this pantograph, the Good Vibrations one from Urban Elements, and it was super cute. So what I did on this one is I just rotated my block, so then instead of all my herringbones going the same way, they rotate each way, so then whichever way you look at it, it's a little bit different. So I like this pantograph, how it gave it just a little bit of movement, a little bit of fun, and this will be good. I'll have to put it away in my donation pile before Trixie gets to it, because once she sleeps on a quilt, she claims it as her own, so who needs some cat fur? Not me. But anyways, so I'm gonna go get pictures of these, so then we'll take a look at those, and we'll be on to the next quilt soon.